evening, good afternoon, whatever time you may be listening, and welcome to season 2 of Coffee and Cuddles. Now, in case you're wondering, Coffee, aka Craig, is off actually fixing coffee or he's doing something. So while he's off getting ready, I figured I would hijack the stream, so to speak. So here we go. So every relationship has its good days and its bad days. And sometimes a rather, let's say, bad day just kind of goes all over the place, leaving you with the feeling of, oh my gosh, I don't know how to handle this. Well, recently I was talking to a group that I belong to, and one of the people in the group mentioned that sometimes you don't need to have the answers and that the person feels comfortable enough sharing what they're going through. And before you wonder, is this one of their ever popular and well-known going off the rails, off the road into the dirt? No, it's not. So you know that Coffee is currently back in school working on getting his degree in digital marketing, which I, for one, think is absolutely incredible. I think it's really, really cool. And despite what he may say, oh, he's kind of looking over here at me. Despite what he may say, he is doing very, very well. So I want to share with you something that happened recently and how this kind of all fits in with the whole relationship thing. So he takes 2 classes per semester or per session. Um, and this particular week, he had some heavy duty stuff lined up that he had to do. And he got extremely overwhelmed and just fell to pieces. I mean, it was kaboom. And I was just sitting there going, I have no idea what to do. I don't know how to help. And it was just breaking my heart because he was very overwhelmed, very stressed out. He was this close. Yes, I'm putting my fingers very close together. I know you can't see that, but he was very close to just throwing it all away, just giving up. That was it. He was done. He was quitting. And he thought that he was letting me down because he saw me getting teary-eyed. And that's not why I was getting teary-eyed. I was getting teary-eyed because here is this man that means everything to me falling apart, and I don't have Harry Potter's magic wand. I don't have Samantha's ability to wiggle her nose and make everything go picture perfect. So I just hugged him and let him cry it out and let him get frustrated. And at one point, he looked at me and said, "Oh my gosh, and I'm taking this all out on you," which is not how I saw it at all. I saw someone getting very frustrated, and I remember those days of having all these things kind of hitting all at once. And back in my college days, I was taking 4 to 5 classes a session. So having a test in one class and papers in another, and this outline is due, and you have to be ready for this discussion group. And I can remember many times just kind of finding a quiet corner in the library and just falling apart and saying, what am I doing? I just want to leave. But, I didn't give up, and I didn't want him to give up either. So I just helped him, relax and catch his breath and said, okay, we're going to look at what's due, and you and I are going to work on this, and we're going to go through it one piece at a time. And after a few days, the projects were ready to go. They were done. They just had to be looked at really quick, and he was ready to upload, and everything was good to go. And I told him, anytime you're feeling like this, this is how we'll tackle it. We'll look at things one at a time instead of looking at everything, because that's what I do. I can't look at things one bite at a time. I look at the entire plate and lose my mind. So to see somebody else in that mode where they're looking at the entire plate and losing their mind kind of made me sit back and go, wow, is that what I do? Is that what I'm putting people through when I'm overwhelmed and losing it? So it kind of got me thinking, since the pandemic, the way people, and I don't mean everybody, so please don't write in and say you're kind of lumping all of us together. I don't mean everybody, but since the pandemic, I think there's a lot of times that people do get overwhelmed. And what do I do next? The way he is going to school, it is all virtual. He does not go onto the campus. He is doing this from his very high-tech setup that he's got going on, which always gets me confused because he can just move things around and things bounce from monitor to monitor. And I just kind of sit there and go, whoa. But it also got me thinking that during the pandemic, I was a distance learning teacher, and I was teaching my students from home. And it got me thinking, was this what my students were experiencing and what their students were experiencing? Or sorry, their children, what their parents were experiencing? My goodness, I have students being their own children. Okay. But is this what they were experiencing? The stress and the feeling overwhelmed. And it gave me a whole new view on what it's like for the students. I know what it's like for the teacher, and now I kind of see what it's like for the students. So whenever somebody is feeling like that, whether it's your significant other, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your best friend, when you see them in that mode where just everything's hitting them all at once, you don't need to have the automatic answer. You don't need Harry Potter's magic wand. You don't need Samantha's ability to wiggle her nose. You don't need to be like all of these sitcoms where they solve everything in less than a half hour, because got to count for commercials. So what is it, like 23 minutes? And they just magically solve everything. And you don't have to have the solutions. The fact that they feel at ease enough to let you know how they're feeling, and the fact that they're overwhelmed and they don't know what to do next, and they want to give up on whatever it is they're doing, they trust you. They're comfortable with you. And just being there, just being in that same space and squeezing their hand or giving them a hug, or just, letting them cry it out if they need to. And it's not you that they're taking it out on. They're extremely overwhelmed, and they just need to know that they're safe, that this is a space where they can lose it, so to speak. Oh, I think he is coming this way now. Hey, honey, how are you?
Hi, how have you been? It's been forever since we've chatted. Am I allowed in the studio now?
Yes. Okay. So I know you were kind of eyeballing over there as soon as I mentioned you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
Would I ever?
Every day and twice on Sundays.
Fair enough.
So let me ask you this. So I don't know how much of my conversation you heard with our friends, but I was talking about that little
breakdown,
panic attack, however you want to phrase it.
I was overwhelmed, and not that my college situation is better or worse than anyone else's. I think our experiences are our own, and they may feel worse than someone's or better than someone's, but it's all subjective. Now, I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not any better or worse than anyone else was, but it was so much to look at, and we only have 8 weeks to do all this stuff. And this latest class is like every week there's another paper. It's another 750 to 1,000 words, and it's the forums, and it's all this stuff, and it's times 2 classes. In one of my classes, I had to create a storybook,
which he's actually doing a very good job.
I've never done that before. Have I written? Sure. Am I good at stories? Absolutely. Putting it into a storybook form, and storybook is a misnomer. That's the teacher's word, not mine. It's going to be more graphic novel-ish than anything else. Give it it's done.
I think he's getting water.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt his train of thought here for a moment. So our studio here is actually more like a hot yoga studio at the moment, because the air conditioner unit that I have, that I honestly, well, I'd have to go find the book to find out when, or to find out how old it is. It's been, okay, it's at least 20. So it's been through, major cleanings, and it went through a very costly repair that didn't even make it a month before I had them out here again to do another may or may not work repair. And my air conditioner unit just kind of went and said, yeah, no. And of course it had to pick the beginning of August, so it gets a little warm. So the animals are drinking more water than normal, and we've got fans going all over the place. And yeah, so I'm sorry, I completely blew your train of thought.
Hey, we're used to it around here. We're professionals. We do this without a net.
That is right. We do this
without Frankie.
Or a net. Or net. Oh, I get it.
So the novel thing that I'm working on is aimed at teens that are too old for vacation Bible school and too young to sit in Bible study with their parents. So that's kind of what I'm going for. And as I was telling someone yesterday, I think it's written from like a teen speak, elite speak, whatever the kids are saying now. That's kind of where I'm going. So not only am I having to design this 4-chapter book thing, I also have to like write my own words and put in my own stuff. So it's a learning curve all the way around. And I'm doing it. And I was telling Anna the other day, it's funny how I'll be like, screw this. I don't want to do it. And then a little while later, hey, look how far along I am. So it's just a matter of letting go and letting God and trusting that I can get it done, and hopefully it all works out. So I did get most of the papers done. I've got the latest one almost done. That's due on Monday morning. That'll be done. And there's another one due either next week or the week after for one class, nothing for the other class. And then I think another paper for both classes. And I know it's a lot to squeeze into 2 weeks. And maybe just some people, you're thinking, no, one paper, that's not bad. But when you haven't been in school in like 30 years, it's a bit much. So I'm trying to do the one thing at a time, and I'm trying to not get overwhelmed. And thank God I have such an awesome partner by my side every step of the way, telling me you're doing great and keep going and everything will work out fine. And it's just a matter of listening to her and saying, okay, I'm going to be okay.
So the fact that I don't have like the instant solution, or I can just snap my fingers and everything's copacetic, does that help put you more at ease? Does that make you feel more relaxed? Should I be like Sheldon Cooper and making you a hot beverage because you're upset?
It's too hot for the hot beverage. Okay.
Oh, that's true. It is too hot for the hot beverage.
Too damn hot.
Beep. Oh, I didn't hit the beep fast enough.
Whatever you're doing works great. Please keep it up.
Okay, so here's my next question for you. So before you came out here to the wild wild west, um and I would have my monumental fall aparts, is that pretty much what, like when I saw it happen to you, is that what you would see when it would happen to me?
Yes. And I felt terrible that I wasn't here in person to help you. I just tried to do the same thing you do. It's going to be okay. Things are going to work out the way they're going to work out. No sense stressing over it. And it's always easier.
McCoy, come here.
It's always easier to tell someone else, hey, calm down, than it is to tell yourself to calm down, because that doesn't work.
Yeah, so let me let me share another story. So I was in a relationship that I was in, a long distance situation. Whenever I would have these fall apart moments of mine, the response I would always get is, quote, "Stop bloody worrying," end quote. That doesn't work. That doesn't help. That doesn't make it better. And actually, for me, and I don't know if it's the same for you, but for me, it makes it a billion times worse.
Right when they tell you, oh, stop, calm down, you're fine.
Or quit bloody worrying. Because for me, and I don't know if it's the same for you, but for me, it feels like I'm not being heard.
Right. Your point is not valid. And why are you still complaining? And yeah, you're not being heard, you're not being seen. And that was one of the biggest problems with my former relationship, was I felt like I wasn't being seen, like my problems didn't matter, or my problems are not as bad as I thought they were, or I was ignored.
McCoy.
And left to my own devices a lot.
So that's never going to be what helps somebody, is to tell them not to worry about it. Just the fact that you're there and you're listening to them, that's what they want. Sorry, McCoy is into things that he shouldn't be into.
McCoy,
he got the plastic boxes.
Come here.
So
Sit.
McCoy is
Sit.
He's our like little cleanup crew. And of course I could be getting worried about this right now. I could be freaking out about this, but he's a dog and he just wants to get into everything he can get into. So, whenever somebody who's close to you is having these moments where they are in kind of give up mode, it's not that they're necessarily looking for you to solve it. They want to be heard. They want to know that I can come to you. I can, voice what's happening to me. I can talk it out, or, if necessary, just sit there and cry with you, because they're just looking for that person, the one that they can go to when they need someone just to be there. So, oh, did I lose him? Oh, he's here.
I'm here.
Sorry. McCoy gets into mischief and things he shouldn't get into. And of course, he's giving us his face right now. Like, what? I didn't do it. I'm so cute. I wasn't doing anything wrong. So it's not that you need to have the solution, and it's not that they want the solution. They want to be heard. They want to know that if I'm having these moments where I'm not doing well, that you're there for me. And I think that also goes back to something I did for my students when I was the distance learning teacher, because I wasn't in person with them. I had what I called, um, you know, great. Now I'm drawing a blank on what I called it, teacher time or something like that, where if they needed time with me, they could ask for it. And it could be, anything at all. We could, just be listening to music. I'll have my coloring books, they have their coloring books, and we're just coloring, or we're doing, some kind of game on the computer, or they're teaching me something, which is kind of how I learned a little bit about Roblox, and that some students, when they want to play, online educational games, they kind of come up with all these other little games like hide and go seek, which I'm still trying to figure that one out. But it gave them a chance to feel like they were being heard and they were getting, time to, just not have to worry about school and just do something with someone that they felt comfortable with. So anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. As always, this is our 2 cents. Your own mileage may vary. I didn't know if you had anything else. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
good.
like,
This is your episode. I'm the supporting cast.
oh, thank you. So as always, we hope that, everything is going well with you. And, if you're ever having, one of those, oh my gosh, I just need to be heard moments, we're here for you. You can always feel free to reach out to us. So like I said, hopefully, now I'm drawing a blank again.
Hopefully you got something out of this episode.
I'm not used to being the one ending things.
I know. It's a little challenging sitting that seated. We hope you learned something. We hope you enjoyed it. We love you all, and God bless. See you next week.
Bye.